The pandemic has shed new light on how deep and difficult the entire issue of mental health has become. The incidences of violence, depression, and suicide have increased. There's loneliness and isolation. There's little emotional support, and people are literally battling demons on their own, which is not a good sign. Enter Shanti Magam, a youth center established in 2016 to break the cycle of violence within communities, healing the emotional trauma of vulnerable adolescents and youth. The center is a safe space for children and youth from multiple socioeconomic, ethnic, religious, and also gender orientation backgrounds. But right now, with the center closed, Shanti Magam quickly put in place a hotline and enabled social media platforms to lend a listening ear to anyone wanting to talk. On Srilanka Life Let's Talk today is Shanti Margam's mental health counsellor and hotline coordinator, Chaturi Paranavitana, and social media coordinator and hotline counsellor, Nathan Anandappa. So, welcome to you both. Working your hotline, Chatu, and also your social media platforms, what patterns have you seen emerging among children and youth during the pandemic?
So the patterns that I've sort of seen is that there's quite a lot of low self-esteem, low mood. There's a lot of domestic violence issues that are coming up. There are also quite a lot of anger management issues and impulse control issues that we have seen within our youth.
Our hotline is available in all 3 languages and from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. And where the counseling you can receive is free of charge. Also on our social media, something that we focus on is every post that we create is presented in all 3 languages. So then that makes it accessible to everyone.
So there is stigma surrounding mental health. No one wants to talk about it, let alone recognize it. But as a result, it's too late when we do recognize it. What signs should parents be looking out for?
So there are 2 things that we need to keep in mind. One thing is that every child is unique, so you can't compare them to other people. Second thing is that there is no set list that you need to sort of check off. What you can focus on is behavior and changes of behavior, and also focus on how they talk about themselves, and changes in the sense of, if your child was messy before the pandemic and they're still messy, chances are the child is just messy. So, again, keyword being changes.
For a child or a young person going through loneliness or isolation for that matter, what are the practical coping strategies you would recommend, Nathan?
3 things come to mind. One would be intentionally making time for the people around you, for example, your family. The other would be spending time with people you love or friends. So it could be setting up time to meet them in person or even virtually once a week maybe, or daily even. The other one would be still, despite having a supportive family and friends, things can still get tough. And so then it's ideal that you reach out to a professional.
So what are the don'ts, and I really mean the don'ts, we should be aware of when either faced with or dealing with a young child or a young adult having mental health issues?
I think the most important thing is letting them know that you are there for them and that you are on their side. And so here your words and your actions matter a lot. So some don'ts would be saying things like snap out of it, it's your fault, get over it. Those are definitely don'ts. Some things that you could say instead, I'm here for you, is there anything that I can do? What you're going through sounds really difficult. Those go a long way. And following those up with actions such as just maybe meeting up with them, or if you can't do that, texting or calling them.
So we need to get children and young people to come out and talk about what frightens them, what is actually bothering them. But because of social various norms, nothing of that happens. They don't talk about anything. How do we get them to come out in the open and talk about their issues?
Quite understandably so, the youth are really scared to talk about things. But I can break it down into 5 steps. So first thing is to create a safe space where they can talk about what they're feeling and they won't have consequences. So if they open up about how they're struggling with an eating disorder, don't bring it up over dinner table. Second thing is that you need to make yourself available to talk. So when they do talk about what they're struggling with, put aside what you're doing, focus on them, pay attention, and let them know that what they are saying is important. Third thing is that you need to listen and empathize with what they're going through, in the sense of avoiding words like, oh, why are you so stressed? You have nothing to be stressed about. Instead, let them know that what they are struggling with matters to you. Next thing is that you can lead by example, which means that show them how you can be vulnerable too, how you reach out for help, and how you manage your emotions. So this could be just having a family day, or even just taking a day off for yourself. Last point but not least is to understand that our goal of this is to get the children to talk and open up. So if they choose not to talk to you, but to talk to maybe a mental health professional or a friend, that's okay, don't take it personally.
So we have to remove the stigma that surrounds mental health. Young children and young people are all vulnerable in this area, and more so because they may be too frightened to talk about it. Thank you, Chatu. Thank you, Nathan, for actually shedding some light on a very sort of an issue that, again, no one wants to talk about. Thank you for joining us on Srilanka Life. Let's
Thank
talk.
you for having us.
World of risks and obstacles, we are there to help you reach your goals. With 12 billion rupees worth of customer benefits in 2020 and a life insurance fund worth over 100 billion rupees. Our strength is your strength. You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Srilanka Life.